Hey, good morning everybody, this is Henry Liu. It is 8 a.m. Let's take a look on today's Canada core retail sales, which is going to come out at 8:30. Basically what we're looking at is going to be the core retail sales, or retail sales but excluding the automotive components, because the auto components changes season by season, and you can get a better view, a better measurement of the retail sales if you just exclude that number. And basically pretty much that is the number that most traders look for. So the forecast number for that retail sales number is at a 0.1%, and the previous release was at 1.0%. Now what we're going to be looking for is at least a 0.6% of deviation. So in essence, we're looking for a to buy the USD CAD pair if we get a negative 0.5%, or to sell the USD CAD pair if we get a 0.7%. So that's basically our plan, is to wait for the number to be released, and once the number has been released, we will wait to see if our deviation is hit. If we do not get any of our tradable numbers, our next step will be just to set out for the market. But if we do get our tradable deviation, then we'll have to watch to see if the market has that first move corresponding to the tradable numbers, meaning that if we get a negative 0.5 or worse, that the USD CAD actually start to move up, or if we get a 0.7% or better, that will start seeing the USD CAD to start going down. So we need to have that corresponding movement. And once we get that, we'll wait for a decent retracement, and then we're jumping on a trade. Pretty straightforward. Just prior to the release, we're seeing that the dollar CAD, if we look at the 1 hour chart, we can see that the dollar CAD started the trading day at 107.91, almost testing the 108 handle. It went down to as low as 106.60, and right now it's just lingering at 106.76. That's about 115 pips of gain from the starting of Asian session. So obviously there's some pricing in of the market prior to this release, as we are seeing across the board weakness in the US dollar. So what we could do is we could plan for a long trade on the dollar CAD. As you know, my long-term view on the dollar CAD is to go long, so we can probably do a long trade if we test the 106. And if we don't get to 106, we can see market reaction, and based on the number, maybe we'll still jumping on a trade even if we don't get our deviation. But then that wouldn't be a news trade, it would just be a sentiment trade or a market cycle trade. But anyways, in about 26 minutes from now, we're gonna get the number. We'll look at this number, and then we'll make a decision whether to jump in on a trade or not. So I'll see you in 26 minutes, and we'll trade this number live. Okay, coming up in about a little bit over a minute for the retail sales number. Remember, we're looking for the core number, and it is expected at 0.1%. We're not looking for the headline number. The headline expectation is actually 0.7%, and the analysts estimate the range today will be anywhere from negative 0.6% for the X auto, that's for the core number, to positive 0.5%. So if we go over that, probably we'll get a big surprise in the market. So once again, the headline is expected at 0.7. The X auto is 0.1.
Canadian data July retail sales month over month expected 0.7%. Less autos expected 0.1%. Again, it is July Canadian data.
So coming up now, less than a minute. So just stand by. And obviously, we don't do anything harsh. We just wait for the number, and then we'll decide what to do after the release.
July Canadian retail sales month over month, and retail sales less autos should be out in just a few seconds.
Alright, it's coming out.
minus 0.6% for retail sales and minus 0.8% for retail sales less autos for Canada, both below expectations. Prior, less autos revised to 1.1% from 1.0%, no revision to prior retail sales for Canadian July data.
Okay, we got a worse than expected number, a negative 0.8%. So it is definitely a long trade for the dollar CAD. As we can see, the market jumped up immediately. We were at the 80 some level. We saw 107 gets taken out immediately. So definitely it's a long trade. What we'll do is we'll wait for some kind of a retracement before jumping on the market. And this goes with the longer term view and also with my prior news analysis. So I think it's actually pretty good for the market for our trade. So I'm going to go ahead and see what will be a good area for us to jump in. So stand by. Let me go ahead and do some technical analysis here and see if we can jump in at a good entry. I think if the market goes back down to the 90s, 106.90, that would be a good entry. Just a little bit below 107, so that will be the entry for the time being. And we'll give it about 35 pips of stop loss. So let me go ahead and issue the trade. I might make a verbal change depending on how the market is reacting. So we're seeing now market going back up. We're seeing 107.11 for the dollar CAD. The more that it goes up, it's actually better. That means there's a momentum pushing it. So once that retracement takes place, it just means that there's more room for our trade to go. So right now, the best thing we can do is just wait and don't jump in a hurry. And just wait for the retracement, because I'm sure retracement will take place. So stand by. Okay, the market basically pushing up the dollar CAD. We're seeing 107.10. I like to get in at 107, between 106.90 to 107 if possible. Based on the double Fibonacci drawings, I think we can get somewhere around this area. It will be a good entry, 106.93. So we're just waiting now for the market to retrace a little bit before we jump in. That's a good about 43 pips of movement. So if we do get a good retracement, market could still push back up on the long term. So that's going to be the plan, and let's see if we can actually get in there. Alright guys, we're seeing the market retrace back to the 107.02. I'm going to go ahead and jump in right here. Alright guys, we're seeing about 30 pips of profits. Going to go ahead and close the trade. Could probably see me a little bit more, but for the purpose of this recording, I'm going to go ahead and close it. It's 10 o'clock, about an hour and a half after the entry. Really not much of drawdowns. I think we were down as much as 20 pips at one point, but never got our stop loss getting hit. So pretty straightforward trade. Alright, so it goes to show you patience pays off.